Good afternoon. This is Pam with Follow Your Brush, and I'm so glad to have you join me for my first video in 2024. I'm just doing spontaneous painting today. I was not in my studio during the holidays. I was visiting family. I was painting in my recliner in front of the TV. That's what I call my Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy sketches and painting, that I just do little stuff while I'm watching TV. And but this morning I wanted to come back into my studio and just turn on some instrumental music and just paint without any thought or planning, just paint. So I did this little spontaneous painting. This is on my Arsh travel journal. If you haven't purchased these, they're really nice. Let's see if I can get to the cover here. Here it is. It's Arsh Travel Journal, 100% cold pressed, 140 pounds, 6 inches by 10 inches. So this is the length, 10 and then 6 inches high. If that's the way you choose, if you want to do it this way, you may also, but I chose to do it this way today. And I just started with bringing in some water and pigment and color, and without any thought, and just seeing where it takes me. Just watching the paint and the pigment combine. And I really enjoy painting this way. It's often called spontaneous painting. And when I first began painting, I didn't know if other artists even did spontaneous painting. I just didn't know. I was doing it, but didn't know if I was the only one doing it. And I've discovered I'm not. I did add some little salt in here for some texture, and so this color is Purple Haze. This is Cosmic Blue, and some more Purple Haze over here. And I'm going to do some more and just show you what I'm talking about. If you, I think it's a great exercise also if you're just starting, or even if you've painted for a long time. I'm going into my 5th year, which I can hardly believe, painting, and I just have such a good time. And it's just so relaxing. So let me get back in here. I'm going to come in here with my brush from Tracy Lebenzon. This is his large goat hair synthetic. This bristle length is probably, wow, maybe almost 3 inches, 2.5, 3 inches to the very tip. You can see that sharp tip. That's one reason I like his brushes. This is a goat hair synthetic, and the natural goat hair really, really holds the water. And you'll see that in a minute, and it just paints forever. This is still dry, and I am going to come in here wet on dry. I'm going to get some nice load of water in this pigment, and water loaded up in this brush. Nice thing about these big wells in this porcelain palette, this is from Meeden, M-E-E-D-E-N. I'll put the description in the description. I got it from Amazon. And I'm going into one of my favorites. Sorry about that, I had to look. But this is indigo, and this is the most beautiful indigo in my opinion. All right, this is dry, and so some of this is probably going to stain. And I'm just going to let my brush kind of play on here. Now, one reason I let my brush play like this is because of all the issues that I've had with my hands and my thumbs and surgeries, etc. Put some more on here. Then I'm going to come back and we're going to add some water and let this kind of play and see what it wants to do. I really enjoy this color, this indigo color from Michael Harding. All his colors are quite intense and really beautiful. Okay, rinsing my brush, and you can see colors coming out there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over it. This is not any particular magic technique or anything. I'm just playing. And this to me is quite relaxing. And this is what I needed to do today. after my holidays of not being in my studio and just being busy with other things. And today was the day for me to come and just play back here. So I'm going to see what this indigo wants to do on this paper. And yes, I have left some of this dry down here. I'm just going to put water, just water. And then we're going to tilt this paper and see what it wants to do. Kind of encourage some of that to come down. Now let's prop this up and watch it flow. Now you might be thinking, of what use is this? Of what use is this in my painting practice? There's a lot of uses. For one thing, you find out what your paint is going to do with in the water, how it's going to run, how it's going to dry, some of the patterns it might make. You can see some of the very first places that I put when the paper was dry. That's going to stain right there. That's not going to go anywhere. Only the pigment that is wet, that is moving, is what we're going to have moving around and changing. What I might do, actually, as I'm watching this, I'm seeing some shapes come out. It's kind of like watching or looking for hidden pictures, like when we were kids in the highlights magazines. Did you do that? I know they still have them, probably. I like to do those when they have them online too. You see the hidden shapes that come out. I can also, I'm going to just prop this up a minute and let it go and dry and see what we can see as it's drying, and you'll get my idea of what happens as it dries. Got some clean water here. It's still a little bit damp. I'm going to take this another brush by Tracy. This is a totally synthetic. I'm just going to, as it's not totally dry, but it's not totally wet, I'm going to sprinkle some water. There are different methods of doing this. You can even use a toothbrush if you want. Splatter some water or even another color paint. But right now, in my mind, now you might not be seeing it. My son watches me paint and he says, "Mom, I do not see the shapes." But let me tell you what I'm seeing and see if you maybe see it too. As the bottom, as I tilted this direction, this became lighter. And so to me, if I were to flip this back over again, as this is starting to dry, things underneath it there, I'm beginning to see perhaps a sky, a nighttime sky. I'm feeling some of these spots that got missed. I see a sky, and the little water droplets can be like little stars. Another thing I can do, I wasn't going to, but let's do it. When it's not super wet, but not yet super dry. There's a timing for this. Just kind of let it get this satiny look. You can add a little bit of salt. And I think I'm going to do that with this because I'm kind of seeing a nighttime sky. I don't want to put it everywhere. Maybe a little bit over here. Salt's really fun to play with. And I'm going to put some more down in here. And what this will do is this is going to absorb the paint color. pigment that's in there. And then when it's dry, it will leave me like little white specks or sparkles. I'm going to try to let it dry naturally here for a bit. It will take a minute. But in the meantime, now you see I'm coming in, I'm doing this, and you're seeing exactly what you actually might not want to do. Coming back in with some water. Like, well, why are you doing it if I might not want to do that? Just the water and the brush strokes into this satiny finish can also make some really pretty designs without any paint at all. And what I'm seeing in my mind's eye, so I'm kind of seeing like some trees here, maybe in the dark against this dark sky. So I want to come in and just add a little bit of this water on this damp brush as it's drying into those areas. So when that dries, we're going to have that little scraggly tree line against my night sky. And this is I'm going to have some little ground. Let's just put it, not have it painted floating in the air, but I'm just going to give it some grounding here. So as this dries, you can already start to see it. I hope you can start to see it. You see how it's actually bringing some shapes out. Let me move this over and try to bring it in a little bit more. So you see how I can see, maybe hopefully you can see, there is a scene that is emerging. I'm seeing trees against this black sky. This can be some foliage in the trees. With my wet brush of nothing but water, I just added some lines. And as that dries, that will give me some more definition and hidden pictures. And that's what kind of goes into the spontaneous painting. Then when it's dry, I'll go back and look and see what it's telling me. And I know that sounds crazy to talk about, the paper is talking to me, but I see things in the pictures. I know there's actually a name for that. I don't remember what it is, but there is a name for that when you see objects in other objects. And so that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about spontaneous painting. To me, this is relaxing. It is so enjoyable and fun just to see what happens. Just to take that time, take a few minutes and do some spontaneous painting. When this is dry later, I might revisit it. I might just leave it alone. I'll brush off the paint, off the salt, but you can't do it while it's still wet. But I'm seeing a pretty snow scene at night, perhaps, with just the white shadows. And so that's what I'm doing, bringing in 2024. I hope you're having a great time, and try some spontaneous painting. Just sit and let your paint and water and brush lead you, as in follow your brush. That's what I always say. Just follow your brush. It'll take you wonderful places. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing, and all those things that people do on Facebook and YouTube. And I'll see you in the next video. Happy New Year. Thanks for watching. Bye.